Trying to paint a painting here. Okay.
Hey, which one of these am I using?
Friends, hello. Hello. Welcome to LaunchSpace Paint Night. I have just a couple of announcements to make. First off, you'll notice that there's some equipment around here. For your information, we're going to be live streaming this event. Uh, Unless you walk directly in front of the camera like you just did. You should not be broadcast out there unless you really want to. Then it's up to you. Jump in front of the camera, I can't stop you. But don't. Anyways, this is going to be broadcast tonight, or live stream tonight, and at some point it will be replayed. I'm not exactly sure when yet. Hi, yes.
Now you're really Bob Ross. You got your own everything.
Somebody did a picture of me in a wig already, and I have buried it deep. Okay, I want to give you a couple of LaunchSpace announcements. First off, we have two new programs coming back to us. One of them is the apprenticeship program. Okay, this is for ages 16 to 24. And it goes from September to November of this year. It's a great program for that age group, very enlightening. And this apprenticeship is for fine metalwork studio, the pottery studio, woodworking, and digital design. The second program that's kicking off this year is the Discover program. This runs Tuesdays and Thursdays from October 26th through May of 27. It's for kids ages 13 to 15. Now, if you want more information about either of these programs, you can reach out to Erica. Her email address is on this board over here, erica@launchspaceorange.com. Okay. Also up on that board, I have the website. You obviously know how to get here. Get to the website because you signed in. There's a few classes coming up that I wanted to bring to your attention for September. And let's see, plenty of opportunity to go see that new commercial kitchen over in Athol. Plenty of opportunity to sign up for a tour there. There's a demo night for beaded bedangles. That's coming up on the 9th. An info session on the Creative Sector Pathway program is coming up. That's on the 17th. Also on the 17th is a teen open studio. We're doing another paint night. Isn't that great? Unfortunately, it's already sold out. If you're in there, great. If you're not, get on the waiting list. The waiting list is a wonderful thing. Huh. That's true. If you're on the waiting list, you can purchase a painting kit and you can watch this at home and paint along. So if you don't get in, that's an option for you. If you happen to be signed up and you can't make it, please utilize the system that we have in place to cancel your reservation so that we can notify somebody on the waiting list. Those two top emails over on this board, one to Sid or one to Brianna, either of those email addresses you can send a note to. If you say you can't make it, just let us know so that we can notify somebody on the waiting list. Any questions about any of that? Now, if you have a phone and you want to tell your spouse, you want to prove to your spouse that this is actually where you are, tell them, give them that AOTV13.org. They can go right now and watch this, and maybe you jump in front of the camera, they'll see you. So anyway, it's proof. I heard there's a couple people out here, they go home and their spouse says, no, you didn't paint that. I don't believe it. I can't believe that you painted that. Well, this is a little bit of proof for them, so feel free to let your friends and family know that this is where you are. Okay, enough of that. We're going to begin with our painting tonight. It's I consider a fairly straightforward painting. We're going to look at it in sections, and we'll just deal with it a little bit at a time. The first section that I have here that we're going to address is the background. The background consists of our panel in the back, this white tablecloth, or whatever you might want to call it, a napkin, the shelf, and then down below there's a little bit of dark area below our shelf. That background area we're going to address in the very beginning of our painting. I'm going to say this once now. It's very critical that we come out of that initial stage with the driest possible background possible. Don't use a lot of paint in that process. I'll give you a technique that should minimize your paint use. Okay? Gosh, I think that's about all we need to get started. Everybody have a piece of chalk? Everybody has a piece of chalk. Wonderful. Okay. I would prefer not to jump into this without some sort of guidelines. So I'm going to use my chalk to put in some lines and guide me through this, at least through this background stage. Okay? So the first line I'm going to draw is going to be the back shelf right back here. And that's going to be about 4 inches up from the bottom of my canvas. I happen to know that this distance on my hand is about 4 inches. It's convenient if you can measure your fingers someday and figure out where 4 inches is. That would be great. So I'm going to go up about 4 inches. I'm going to make a mark here. And I'm going to draw a straight line, right straight across, as straight as I can, right to the other side. The second thing I'm going to draw in is the front edge of our little tablecloth here. Okay? Oh no, I take that back. I'm going to draw in the line for the edge of the shelf that's down here. So a second line, about 1 inch up, straight across the best you can. Okay. Now we're going to draw in that bottom line of our napkin here, tablecloth. I'm going to come in from the side here, a little bit down from my original line. I'm going to come to a center point here, like this. And once I hit this bottom line, I'm just going to go straight down. And then I'm going to come over here from the other side. I'm going to do the same thing. We'll get close to the center and we'll just bring that front edge down. It just kind of droops over the front edge of our shelf. She has some. She's all set. Okay, everybody good with that? All right, I'm afraid it's time to start painting. Okay. The amount of paint that you have here is not indicative of the amount of paint that you need. Okay? It's probably more than you need. If you happen to need more, let us know. We'll get it to you. If you can't wait, it's all on the back table. Feel free to go get it yourself. This first technique on the background, I want to use as little paint as possible. I'm going to be painting this upper area here. To do this, we need a damp brush. Special instructions for today. I'm sorry I'm jumping around. This is a little awkward for me because I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Pull off one of these and save it. Don't use it, keep it dry. Okay. Then I'm going to dampen my brush. I'm going to dampen my brush by putting it in my water and then taking out the standing water. Basically, it's wet now. It's not dry, it's wet, but it's not holding a lot of water. Okay? We're using the big flat brush. You're going to hold that single sheet aside for a moment. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to use my brush to be a delivery device at first. I'm going to take the tip of my brush, I'm going to dip it in about 1/4 inch and take some paint up here. Not much. I'm using brown paint. And I'm not taking up a lot of paint here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to deliver it in spots. So I'm going to deliver a spot here. I'm going to deliver a spot here and here until I've gotten rid of everything on my brush. Okay, don't go too far. I want to keep it all in this one section. Once I've done that, I'm going to start spreading it out. Right down to that bottom line there. Do you hear me scraping my canvas? Just spread that little bit of paint out as far as it will go. Really spread it out. Don't be afraid to scrub it in. What you don't want to have is any standing brown paint. If you find that it's not spreading out, I can see like some of you, it's stuck in some spots, re-dampen your brush. Don't use a lot of water. Drop it in, take some excess off, and then start brushing it out. Okay, does that help?
Yes, thank you.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this to that entire side here. I'm going to go all the way across. I'm going to go back to my brown paint. I'm going to reload. I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to deliver it. And then I'm just going to start spreading it out the best I can. I'm really scrubbing it in. Get a little moisture on there. I don't know if you can notice, there's less paint on this side than on this side. And this is sort of what we're after. The less paint you're able to spread or put on there, the better. Okay. How'd we do? That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I put on a little bit too much paint myself. All right, I'm just gonna kind of tuck it up to my line here a little bit. We'll finish over here. All right. I see some of you are painting the edges, the outside edges of your canvas. Feel free to do that. Okay. Liz, maybe a little less paint and just a little more dampness.
Okay.
Just to finish, to spread that little bit out. Yeah.
A lot more dampness.
Well, we don't want too much because now I'm going to make some corrections for my canvas a little bit, but I want to make sure everybody's got this one section done. Remember that extra paper towel I had you set aside? I'm going to use that kind of like just a little rag. I'm going to get one corner of it damp. Oh, I'm going to have to wait. I don't want to get too far ahead of you folks. Using a damp paper towel, I'm going to put streaks into the dark areas that I've got up there. It's just a slightly damp paper towel, and I'm going to drag it through. Just a couple of streaks so that it's not a solid brown mass. It's going to show some of the gray from our original color. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. Yeah, I mean, take a look at it. If it looks like too much of a solid mass of brown, take some of it off. And make sure that if you do that, that it full brush strokes the whole length up and down. Yeah, you don't have to. We're going to be doing a little bit more. All right. Now I'm pretty satisfied with that. It's rough. We're going to put some detail in it in a little while. But what is important is there's no standing water. The paint that's up there, I've brushed it off. I've made sure that it's on the way to dry. So let me take a walk around. Yeah, just keep. Try and get a few little streaks in there. Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, you can use the paper towel to dry any excess paint that you might have put on there, just to pick up anything that might be sitting on the surface. And then we're going to let this particular section sit for a bit. Okay. The next section of this background that I'm going to paint in are these two little triangles on either side. All right, I'm going to use same brush, the wide brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of my brown and just a speck of my yellow. Well, maybe the other way around. A little yellow and a speck of brown. How's that? And I'm going to drop a speck of white in there as well. And I'll show you what I have. Okay. This is what it's looking like. Oh, you can't tell on the TV. Okay. And with this color, we're going to do similar long brush strokes from side to side in these triangle areas. So we'll just run this like that, off to the side, rub it in a little. Likewise over here. Just fill in that little triangle area. It's yellow, brown, and white. That's right. All right. You don't have to be worried about it being too light because your background is nice and light. That's a little bit more. No, that's probably maybe just a speck of brown, but not much. I mean, it's kind of splitting hairs at that point.
Section that you're watching, right?
Yes, yeah. This is we're going to be trying to leave some streaks in it. So the right side here is a little thicker for me, so I'm just going to drag that paper towel. I'm going to put a little bit of a variety into that. We'll hit it with a little bit of character a little later on when we get to a punch list. All right. Try not to think too much about painting these areas in. These are real quick. You're just looking to cover that section of canvas with a little bit of this color. And again, you don't want it to be too thick. You want to have a thin layer of paint here. Now, we have to put in a little bit of dark brown underneath on the very front edge. So taking a little bit of black with some brown. I don't need to be worried too much about how thick this is. But what I'm going to do is on this, I'm going to pull my brush strokes down. And I'm going to bring it right up to that lighter brown area, right over to where the tablecloth drops down. And then I'll do the other side over here. We want this to be the darkest color that we have so far. But we don't want it to be too dark either. Okay.
Is that pinned out too?
No, I didn't, but I didn't use much paint. I just put a, yeah, I mean, I scuffed it around, spread it out as far as it would go, if that was your question. Same technique is up above here. Just a little bit of paint, spread it out as far as you can get it to go. Now, I haven't stayed in my lines. That's okay. I'm just going to make sure that everything that I do at this point takes care of all of this unevenness. When you are ready, clean that big brush out. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. You guys stayed inside the lines better than I did. I don't stay inside the lines. Okay. Everybody ready? No. I see head shaking no. I want to paint the front edge of this shelf. And we're going to do that with our same brush, okay? But you're going to have to clean it out. So do your best. Clean it out in the water and then take that excess water out of that brush so that it's nice and clean. I'm going to take some of this yellow and white, similar to the color of our shelf here, but I want it to be a step lighter, a little bit more white into it, maybe a little more yellow. Okay. This is a fairly light mixture. I can show you what I got. Anybody's curious, this is what I'm about to use. That one there. I'm still mixing it. And I have a fair amount of paint on my brush this time. Okay, I've gone about halfway up my brush, and this is going to be a single brush stroke. Don't pick up your brush. Once you put it down, don't pick it up until you've gone all the way to the side. Now, a particular way of putting it down too. We're not going to lay it flat. We're not going to use this edge. I'm going to put it right down on a corner. I'm going to come in just like this, right where my napkin begins. I'm going to put it on this corner. Once I push it down all the way, I'm going to start dragging it all the way to the side, and I'm not going to stop until I get all the way over. Okay, so here we go. Jump in, the water's fine. Pushing it down, pulling it to the side, I ran out of paint, so I'm going to come back to the other side of the brush. Don't stop. Just like that. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, but that not stopping action allows you to plow through any wet paint that might exist down there without blending it. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit more of that color. I'm going to go do the other side. Same technique. I'm going to put it down. The reason I didn't have enough paint to get to the other side, or the reason I didn't get all the way over, is because I didn't have enough paint on my brush that time. Maybe I could do better over on this side. I'm going to use my left hand, Melissa. There we go. Pushing it onto the canvas, and now I'm going to drag it right over. I ran out of paint again, so I'm going to turn my brush over to the other corner. Ah, not enough paint. There we go. Okay. Now I'm not going to mess with that edge anymore. Nobody's going to look at it because they're going to be looking at some cheese and some wine and whatnot. Okay? Our final part of our background is going to be the tablecloth here. Cleaning out our brush. I'm going to go and get some, I don't want to use straight white. I want to tint this a gray color. I'm going to use a small amount so that some of this gray that's back here will come through. So spread this thin so some of the gray that's on the canvas already will shine through. The color mixture that I'm going to use is I'm going to take some white out, find a nice clean spot. I'm going to grab a speck. How big is a speck? I don't know. How about black peppercorn, maybe? That small. Purple. Okay. Purple. I want to get a very light purple. Incredibly light purple. And now I'm going to go get another speck of our yellow. And mix it into that.
I don't know what purple.
It's the one that looks blue.
This one?
This one here.
That's blue.
It's purple.
You have the same eyes as me.
So I put a little bit of yellow into that very light purple, and what it did was it kind of grayed it. It's still a little bit purple, but that's okay. The yellow is a color wheel negative to our purple. All right, let's go back up here. We're just going to paint in our tablecloth. I'm going to find that back line again. I'm not going to be too fussy about the very center because we're going to be covering up most of that. I'm going to be concentrating on the two edges as they go down to the center here. So, brushing this side over. When I get that white to the edge of the shelf here, I'm just going to, again, pull it down just like my chalk line. Pull it right over the shelf. Going to go over to here, do the other side, and then bring the edge of it right over the shelf. I have a little bit too much paint up there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to really squeeze out all the excess out of my brush. And then I'm going to start pushing around the paint that's already up there to fill this gap. You can hear me really scrubbing it around. I can see some of the gray background color shining through, and that's kind of what I want. I don't want it to be too white. because I can, and if you want to, I'm going to get a slightly darker purple-yellow mixture and just add a little of that here and there to break up that white. Okay. We'll come back a little later. We'll give the edges of that a little bit of a tweak, show some highlight, and show a little shadow as well. Everybody's so quiet.
Excuse me, I need help.
What you need?
I don't have an angle like they do.
Ah, okay.
I'm stressed.
Don't stress.
I
No
know,
stress.
I know, it's supposed to be fun.
Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going
Get
to
so
take
mad at
this off.
myself. Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Okay.
That's the only part that come out good.
It's early in the game. Never give up on this.
I know.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, let's see, let's get rid of this. A little bit too much purple there.
Mm.
That's a good color. All right, so we're going to leave this here. Your shelf is just going to be a little bit different shape than mine, but
At least it looks like a shelf now.
well,
That's not right.
yeah, I mean that's everybody's is different.
I know, but I just don't want it to be right. I don't want it to look.
So I
If I
mean
can
I
look at
think
it.
this looks pretty good, just like it is. Yours is draping over the shelf a little bit. Oh, let me bring this edge right there, and then draping over. Okay.
Thank you.
That'll do you, I think.
Okay.
That's yours. I think that was your brush. That was my brush. Thank you.
Is it supposed to be like this light purple?
A little bit of yellow in that.
Okay.
Yeah. The yellow will take the purple out of it and turn it gray. All right. If you have made it this far, congratulations. That was the easy part. I'm hoping that the background that you have established is dry. Okay. And I'm hoping that the white that you've got down is going to be dry relatively soon. I'm going to pick up my chalk again, and I'm going to start planning out some of our background or some of our elements. Okay, and this does, like I said, require that background to be as dry as possible. If it isn't dry and you have the opportunity, wait. Now, I'm gonna kind of sketch in a couple of my elements here. I'll stay away from the white area on my painting until I know it's dry as possible. Okay. What I want to do is I want to sketch in the top of the bottle all the way down to the white, and I'm going to sketch in a glass. Now, I only painted one glass. I always drank alone. You can do two, but I don't think we'll have time for two today. This painting takes a while, but if you want to put another one in at home, go ahead. If you want to do one here quickly, go ahead. I'm only going to do one. One thing I did notice on a couple of these samples that I did was I had a full bottle and a full glass. The two don't work, do they? So if you're going to do 2 glasses, really empty your bottle. If you're going to do 1 glass, you don't have to empty your bottle as much, but show that the bottle, the wine level in the bottle has actually come down. We're going to be painting a fair number of ovals in this painting. We're going to have an oval at the top level of our wine. There's an oval for the top level of the wine in the glass. There's an oval on the top of our cheese wheel. There's an oval on the bottom of our cheese wheel. There's an oval in every one of those holes there. Well, maybe not this side, but all the angled holes in this cheese, they're ovals. So don't panic about any of that. We'll do that fairly quickly and easily. Okay, I'm going to start with my wine bottle. I'm going to find where the top of my wine bottle is. I'm going to go find my center and pull it over to the right a little bit. And I'm just going to sketch a neck. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to find some shoulders on my bottle. I'm doing the best I can to make it even. Once I make it as wide as I want it to be, I'm going to bring it down. I'm bringing my chalk down to the white area here, but I will be painting it a bit further. Can you see that? Only sketch as light as you need to sketch to see it. All right? You guys are great for doing this. This is a challenge. To the right of my bottle, I'm going to put a glass. I forgot one oval. There's an oval at the top of the actual glass. So that's about halfway up the bottle. I'm going to put a little oval here for the top of my glass. This is a guideline. You're going to be flushing it out and making it better than this chalk guide. And okay, so let's make a wine cup. Just the glass portion here. And then the stem will come down somewhere and land down on our napkin somewhere. Okay? I can't help you. This is a painting class, not a sketching class. That comes next week, I think. I don't know. The cheese wheel that's on this one here actually is partially hidden behind the wine bottle. I like the fact that it's partially hidden behind the wine bottle because it gives a little character to our painting. It doesn't, and things are just lined up perfectly. However, it does leave this gigantic space over here that just, to me, screams emptiness. So I'm going to move my wheel of cheese over a little bit, and I'm going to make sure that it's more of an oval on the top. Okay, so maybe about here is where I want my wheel of cheese. The oval. The thinner the oval, the more dead on you're looking at it. If your oval is wide, that means you're getting up on top of it and looking down at it more. I don't care what you paint, but you got to make sure that you're consistent so that when we get to painting the oval on this glass and the oval on the wine and the oval on the wine in here and then the cheese, you kind of want them all to be, roughly the same. You don't want a big fat oval next to a skinny oval. That's just not going to work. So make them all kind of like medium skinny or really skinny or whatever you choose to do. Be consistent throughout. Okay, back to here. Stop, John. Let's get some work done. Okay, I think I'll put my oval right about here. It's a little bit shorter than my wine glass. I might tuck a corner behind there. I'm fattening up this a little bit. Going to come down on the side here. Can't decide if that's behind the wine bottle or not. All right, hold on. I'm going to edit this. Edit this just ever so briefly. I'm going to erase my chalk. I'm going to make the whole thing to the right, and I'm going to leave a space between my bottle and the wheel of cheese. So I'll now have a gap here. I'm going to come down on both sides. I'm going to put a dot right in the middle of my oval. That's where this slice comes from. Okay, that's going to be our center point for the slice. So we're going to take 2 lines from that dot. We're going to go to the right, out to the edge of the wheel, and then to the left. You can be uneven. That doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. Wherever it hits that edge, bring a line straight down, and bring a line straight down from our center dot. Okay, everything else in this painting, I'm going to hold off doing our slice of cheese laying on its side. We'll hold off doing that until this is a little bit drier. Okay. What we're going to do now is we are going to paint some wine. We're going to paint it into the jar or into the bottle, and we're going to paint it into the glass. Now, the wine color that I've been using starts off with a little bit of purple. No, a little bit of red, and I'm going to purple it up to make, I don't know what kind of wine. I'm going to switch to my large round brush, getting it damp. Going to take a little red out from that messy mess that's there. And I'm going to start mixing in purple a little bit at a time until I get to a color that I'm happy with. Going to add a little bit of water to it as I go along, just so that it mixes a little better. Oh, I like that. I don't know if this is a wine color. I was always a beer drinker. We're not painting white wine tonight.
Oh, we're red.
Okay. First thing I want to do is I want to paint the wine in the glass. I'm not going to paint it all the way up to the top. I'll maybe to about this level here. The top of the wine is going to be an oval. It's going to be a lighter colored oval. We'll get to that in a minute. First thing I want to do is I want to paint in the bottom. And I'm just going to basically stay within my lines. I don't want to leave a lot of paint. I want it to be a first coat that is spread evenly and thin. Got it? All right. Since we still have this color in hand, I'm going to do the same thing to my wine bottle. What's that? Okay. Going to come over here to my wine bottle. I think we've drank it down to here. So from there, I'm going to go across the wine bottle, side to side. And let's see, how far down should I go? Well, how about right about to there? You decide how tall this bottle is. And just fill in that. Spread out the paint so it's a thin layer and it dries. We want this to be very dry when it comes time to paint the bottle on top of it. All right. What we need to do is we need to paint a couple of our ovals on top of the wine. I'm going to use the same brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of white into that wine color that I've made. Maybe a little bit of water, just a touch of water. I think our new air conditioning is drying our paint a little bit tonight. Okay. Back to my glass of wine. And on top of that, right here, I'm going to paint an oval of this lighter color wine. Right on top of it, just like that. I added white to that color. Not too much. I'm going to go over to my wine bottle and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Are we moving too fast for you? I'm sorry. Slow down, Bill. Slow down. Hold on one second. Those look pretty close to each other. Somebody have a question?
Just put a line of pink here.
A line, if you can paint a skinny oval, that would be great. Because it's not really a line. It's more of an oval. Sorry about that. I'll use this one. Yeah, it's more of an oval if you can manage it. Okay. While that's setting up and drying nicely, we can work on some cheese when we're ready. See, I told you you could do it. I told you you
It's
could do
getting better.
it. Yes.
Think so?
Yes, I do. If you don't like it today, you will like it better tomorrow. This is a truism. That looks good. Yeah. I mean, is it perfect? No. Neither is that. Yeah, well, I mean, you could stress yourself out and try and fix it completely, which is what I do at home. That's why I don't sleep. It does. It does. All right, we ready with are we done with our wine? We're good with our wine. All right. What I want to do is rinse out that brush. I want to get the purple out of that large round brush. I'm going to use the yellow that we have here is officially called yellow ochre by this company that we bought it from, but other companies have other names. I'm going to use that color straight, and I'm going to use it to paint the outside, the skin of this. Okay? So, although my chalk lines aren't visible here, I'll make sure that I slow down and show you how to do that. This bottom line here is actually curved back to the outside. So I'll show you how that goes. Don't paint the wedge area. Okay, we're going to use a different color for that. Okay, we're ready? Ready for the cheese. All right, let's get to work here. I'm just going to go right up onto the top and I'm going to paint that back line down the front here and then back to that center point. This brush left a lot of paint around the edges, so I'm going to take my finger and just kind of push that back. I don't want to leave a ridge of paint. Going to use this same color and come right down each side, straight down. We'll go to just onto the white area. We're not getting complete coverage at this point. Don't try it. Just get this initial layer of yellow paint into this section. This bottom edge here is a curved edge like that. This is straight yellow ochre. Yep. And you want to just get it on there, spread it out, a thin layer, get it to dry. I keep putting my hand on it. All right, down on this side here. And like I said, on this particular wheel of cheese, I left it beside the bottle. I didn't try and tuck it behind it. All right, we're going to curve this edge back like that. Okay. Oh, slow down, Bill. Slow down. Sorry. Might not have been the best brush to do it with, but it's a little too late. Okay. Inside of the cheese wheel is this same yellow color, but we're going to add a real boatload of white. Not a boatload, but I mean, we want it to be substantially lighter in value. So I'm going to take a little yellow, bring it over, start mixing in some of this white, and then I'm going to paint the inside. Now, I'm going to do this bottom line first, okay? From the edge of the wheel, we got to bring this line back on both sides. Just like the top. The top has a V that's inverted. The bottom has the same line. Okay? And with that color, you just fill in this center area. We will worry about the dividing line in a little bit. You'll notice just how much coverage power that white paint has. The titanium in that white paint really does add to its covering ability.
This is just straight white?
No, this is white and yellow. This is a light yellow color. But the white itself adds a lot of pigment, solid pigment, to this yellow. Yellow is a very translucent pigment. You can usually see right through it no matter what you do. It's a pain, to be honest with you. Okay. Now we're going to have to do a little fudging to get that cheese wedge up in front. Okay, I'm going to put mine right in this area over here. I'm going to pull it away from my cheese wheel a little bit. Might be a little easier to paint that way. Now, what is the first thing we're going to paint on this wedge? The first thing we're going to paint on this wedge is this outside skin edge right here. It's basically a triangle. Okay? The bottom edge of the triangle is, I conveniently followed the edge of my white tablecloth there. So they run parallel to each other. Once I got back here, I went straight up a little bit, and then I just connected the two. It was a very simple, straightforward process. I don't want to make too much of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to straight yellow ochre, no white. I'm going to come and I'm going to paint that side. So my first line, let's go from back here. I'll go back here. It's going to be following the edge of my tablecloth, right parallel with it. This is straight yellow ochre. I think I'll go to about there. This height, let me think. Yeah, this height in theory should be the same as its perspective is going to drive us crazy. Let's not worry about it. All right, so from this line, I'm going to go straight up like that. And then I'm going to connect this to this, just like this. Okay? I'm going to take this same yellow ochre and I'm going to draw a line from the back corner here. I'm going to send it this way. Right to there. And then I'm going to take another line that's going to be parallel to this one and just come down like that. From this back corner here, I know we're over painting the other section, so you kind of have to imagine it. Now that's all the outside of the wheel. The whole inside area here gets painted that same light yellow color that we used before. So, just like this. And it stops right there. Excellent. No worries. Ooh, sorry. Back here yet?
Check mine out.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. If I've done this right, that very first initial layer of dark yellow that I put on the cheese wheel, this here, it's dry. And I'd like to put a second coat on it. If yours isn't dry, give it a second or two. But I'm just going to take some straight yellow ochre and I'm going to get back up into this area here. And I'm going to give it a second coat. Have to do this because this yellow paint is pretty translucent. I can still see the white line back there. That's all right. We'll cover it with something. I don't think I need to second coat that wedge because it's sitting on the white area, and that's a good background for it. Okay. Where do we go next? Is your wine dry?
Mine is.
Okay. Is your wine dry? Yes. Excellent. Is the wine dry on this table? I mean, the paint. Is the paint dry? I don't know about the wine. It is. Okay. That's not, but we're not going to deal with that yet.
Okay.
Careful of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friends. It's time to paint a green bottle. Now, this has to be a watery mixture because we want to see through it. So don't try and cover anything. Don't try and cover the background. We're not painting a solid green thing. We're painting it's going to have to be a little bit watery. I'm going to get rid of this brush. I'm going to pick up a clean, large, flat brush. Now, why am I going to do that? Because watery mixtures like this are better done with fewer brush strokes. Okay, so the fewer brush strokes that you use, the better off you're going to be. All right. The amount of water that you put into this, you don't want to see through it like tea. You want it to be relatively solid on your palette. I don't know how to describe this. Okay, I'm taking a bit of water here, taking some of it out. I'm going to go and start mixing up a watery mixture of green. And I'm going to green, straight green. Now I'm going to suggest that you do just a test before you get too far on your painting here. Okay, look at that. I wish I could show the camera this. Can I show the camera this? I don't know. I can't hold it up. Anyways. I'm having trouble seeing the plate through this, but it's rolling around like water. Okay, so I think that might be what we're looking for. I'm going to take a little bit of it up here. Now, as it happens, I painted or I sketched the neck of my bottle almost the exact width of my brush. How convenient. So I'm going to go up here and I'm just going to drag that watery mixture straight down. Like that. Can you see through yours? No, you can't. If you can't see through it, then I would take a paper towel and try and dab some of that up and get it back off your canvas. Okay? If you're gonna, it's easier to add paint into it than it is to thin it once it's on the canvas itself. Okay. I'm basically going to take this brush and I'm going to go right over my wine. And I'm going to actually go outside of it just a bit. I got to add a little paint to mine. Mine's too thin. I'm dripping because I'm up like on a easel. You shouldn't be. All right, that's a little bit too much paint. All right, taking it off again. Here we go. No. Try it now. A little bit thinner. Yeah. Painting glass is not an easy thing, so you guys are taking on quite a challenge. All the way right over the red wine, and what you want to do is leave like a quarter of an inch around all of the wine, both sides and the bottom. See how this green is gone a little over the edge. Drop your paper towel right on top of it. Don't scrub it, just drop it down, soak up the paint, and pick it up.
Okay, turn it into a bottle at the bottom.
That's it. That's perfect.
Alright, my mind is spotted, Okay,
It's getting there. Yeah.
we'll add more?
No,
No?
I think you're good. If you do anything, let that dry and see how it looks once it settles. Sometimes these colors will disappear on you when they dry. This was the hard part. This was it. I should have warned you ahead of time, I guess. How'd we do? Nice, nice. Can I do something for you here?
Absolutely.
All right.
Go for it.
Just a damp brush.
I have a heavy hand.
It's not, unless you've practiced a lot,
Yeah,
it's tough to use less paint.
yeah, yeah.
I think that would be fine. That might have to stay that way,
Okay.
but that's okay. When we put a highlight on it, it'll go right on top of it and it'll just disappear. All right. Everybody's got a green bottle? I haven't seen this one yet. Ooh, very nice.
I can't enjoy the little thing green.
It's a little thick.
Yeah.
It's a little thick. Here, let me-
Should I leave that as is or should I touch that up? The rim?
I would
Just leave it?
Just leave it.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just a little. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I like that. I like that. Second coat. Second coat on your wheel. Yes. Nice. No, not you. Sorry. All right, my friends. We are an hour and 10 minutes into this, and I don't know. I have no idea if we're going to land this on time. Let's see what we can do.
Less grapes.
This is true. What I want to do, let's let's do some grapes actually. All right. I want to do just an initial coat of grapes. We're going to use that. I'm going to try and find that same wine color that I had. I'm going to use that color, maybe a little purpley, I'm not sure, but somewhere close. And we're going to put some grapes scattered around down the bottom. I'm going to stay away from my glass because I got to put in a base. The stemware has to come down. Now, if you don't want to have to paint the bottom of our stem here, you can put a pile of grapes down there. That's up to you. It's completely legitimate. Our first, I'm going to use our small round brush. Okay. I'm going to go find some of my wine color. Starting with some red, I'm going to mix some purple into it and get back to that mauve that I had. The small, not the tiny one, the one in between. Yes, not the blue-handled one. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start painting some purple circles. I'm going to start with this clump here. I'm not going to paint individual grapes. I am going to paint circles where they might end up. I'm going to paint the front edge of this clump first. So what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to go right here, and right up in front here, I'm going to paint a circle. That's a grape. I don't want it to have too much paint on it. I want this layer to dry relatively quickly. I'm going to go sort of next to it over here, and I'm going to put a second one. In between, I'm going to put a third, like that. Don't worry what it looks like at this point. Come over here, we'll put one in the front again. Maybe we'll put one over here. And I'm just going to start putting them in behind and to the side. I'm not painting individual grapes. I'm just kind of forming a large purple blob at this point. We'll worry about individual grapes later. Just make sure that your edges are round like that, the edges of this purple blob. Okay, that's the big clump of grapes. I'm going to put another one over here on the other side of my bottle. Just painting some purple circles. Most of them touch each other. Oh my, I put that in front of my wine glass, didn't I? Oh, I'm not going to see all of it. I'll show you how to do it though. Okay, how about I put one, let's put a couple back here. There's one there. And there's one, just two over there. That's enough for me. Oh, maybe one straggler. I'm going to put a straggler right there. So once you've put in enough grapes, you're happy with the grapes that you got, then you can put that brush aside. Clean it out. And then we're going to paint some clear glass. You thought the green glass was hard. Actually, the clear glass is very easy. What we're going to use for that is a thin mixture of white paint. And we're just going to paint the outside edges of it, for the start, at least. Going to use that blue-handled brush, the skinny brush that I hate with my whole heart. I hate this brush. I don't know why. I just don't like it. All right. Now, we're going to paint some clear glass, which really ends up being a very watery mixture of white paint. So using this brush, I'm going to bring in as much water as I can to the side of my white paint pile, and I'm just going to start mixing up a little bit of water in there. Okay. Got what you need? What you need? White? I have backups. White paint. Just lost my microphone.
Right here.
I found part of it. Hold on, guys. I've lost a portion of my microphone. Yeah, it just fell off. There's back half to this?
Is it white?
I don't know.
Try checking the inside of your earbuds. It should be in there.
Oh, here it is. Well, that's a first. All right, my friends. Okay, so I got some thin white paint. This is fairly thin. If you're going to make a mistake, be too thin at this point. First thing I'm going to paint with this thin layer is I'm going to start right up top with that oval that I put a guideline in with my chalk. All right, here we go. Going to go right up here and I'm going to paint an oval at the top of my glass. That's not thick enough. Here we go. Can you see that? If you can't, let me know. All right. I'm going to come down just outside of the wine that I painted. Okay, so here it comes. I'm going to come right down just outside of the wine. And when I get to the bottom here, I'm going to flare it out before I get to the center. Go and do the other side. Ooh, I need a little more in here. Too thick. The stem has two sides to it. Don't paint a single line. Mine hides behind some grapes. If yours does not, decide where those two lines end, the right height for a glass. So I'm right about here. Okay? What you do to put the base on that is you just paint another oval. It should be roughly the same size as the oval on the top. I can't see it in mine here because it's on my white tablecloth and behind some grapes. But I can see the right side of mine. So what you do here is you would just paint a little oval just like this one and have that land right in the middle of it. This is where not having a completely white tablecloth is helpful. Okay. We're going to do a fair amount of jumping around at this point, because we have all the basics in, with the exception of, I think, a label on our bottle. But what we can do is we can start working on some of our details. I'm gonna go to start working on the cheese wheel itself. That should be fairly dry, and we can probably finish it off if it is. Mine is dry. So I'm going to switch over to the middle round brush, not the big round brush, but the middle one. That one there.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yep, not the blue handled one, not the big one. Okay. I'm going to I want to put a little highlight on the cheese, the outside of the wheel itself. So using yellow and white, you'll have to mix it light enough to be appropriate for what your colors are. But I'm going to take a little bit of lighter yellow, and I'm going to highlight, that's too light. I'm going to highlight the top of this wheel here. That's still too light. Hold on. Well, that's good. Take it off with my fingers. Okay. So this front edge of the wheel is a little bit lighter, as is this one. I don't need to paint the entire thing a little bit lighter, but just hint at it. Okay. Just hitting this top area again for my own wheel. So those two-sided edges there are just a little bit lighter. That looks great. I wouldn't do much more. All right. What I'd like to do is, let's see, what color can we use? All right, we're going to jump around again. Clean off that brush that you just had. I'm going to do put in a couple of lines in my board back here. Just some spaces in between the planks. So using the black that we have and that same small round brush, we're really going to jump around and put in some spaces in between some planks. So back here on the background, I'm just going to take some black and kind of just put a few gaps between the planks back there. Okay, I'm going to put one here, and when it gets into the glass, I'm going to kind of shift it over a little bit. And we'll do the same here. Huh? I'm going to leave it like that. If I do anything else, I'm just going to throw a little clutter in here, you know, just like something like that. Maybe just a a random mark in our boards here, maybe a knot hole over here. I'm just putting a little on and rubbing it around with my finger, just kind of breaking it up. Because to me, it looks a little plain. I use the medium round for that. Whatever works best for you, really. All right. Our highlights on our cheese wheel are probably getting pretty dry. I want to try and find a shadow color for the center of our cheese wheel. You'll notice that on our sample here, half of that center section is a darker color, and there is something of a line there. I'm searching for a color. All right, using the same small or medium round brush. Going to take a wee bit of purple, just a touch of purple. Going to mix it into my yellow. To give me something like this. Something like this. I might have caught a little by mistake. This one right here. It's purple, it's yellow. There must be a little bit of white in there. Once again, I've asked a lot of you to mix these colors. I just made a mistake and put green in mine too. That's not going to work. Okay. I'm going to take that color and I'm going to put a thin layer of it on the left-hand side of my inside of the cheese wheel here. So I'm going to draw a line down the center and paint the left-hand side with this. It's a thin layer, so it's showing the lighter yellow behind it. We're not going to get too fancy. I'm just going to bring maybe a little to the other side. Yay? Nay? Yay? That looks good. A lot of chatter. A lot of chatter. Okay. How'd we do? It's only on one side. I put it on the left-hand side. Okay. Now, I'm going to use our brown color. Okay. Not a solid mixture. We're going to use this brown color to make our initial holes in our cheese. And one straight line. I'm going to take one straight line and I'm going to run it down here through the center of my cheese wheel. Notice how it's separated a little of the shadow color. Probably a little. It's just a little bit of brown. What's up, Laura? What's up?
What did we do the purple and the white?
Oh, yeah.
Just one side?
One side. So
In here, so it's
Yeah.
just two.
it's a darker, yeah, something. You're in here?
Okay, well, I wasn't here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more of a darker yellow. I used the purple to get a darker yellow.
Okay. All right, I got it.
7:30. Okay. Using this brown color, I'm going to start painting some holes in my cheese. I'm going to start with the round holes. Now the round holes, they're on this side right here. So I'm just going to make some random holes. This is brown, but it's not a solid brown. I'm just using it to color in or nothing. Just it's a little bit of water. It's thin. Yeah. So a couple holes on this side, random as you can, and various sizes. I don't really care for that. Oh, there we go. That's better. On the left side here, I'm not going to paint a circle so much as I'm going to paint an oval. It's going to be taller than it is wide. Okay, that'll make this side of the cheese kind of look a little turned towards us. So over here, not a circle, but an oval. Same color. It's.
Are your circles filled in?
Say that again.
Are your circles filled in?
They are. They are. I just did it all in one brush stroke. The holes that are on the wedge that are that's laying down here. We're going to paint ovals again, but they're going to go up the side of the slice. They're going to be skinny and tall. So an oval going this way. All right. Say that? What shall we paint next? I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go find some grapes. The next thing I do is I'm going to separate my grapes. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? That's a lot of grapes.
He spilled his wine glass.
I love it. I love it. That's perfect. Okay. I have found that finding grapes, it's usually a little easier to find the tops first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of white and make a slightly lighter grape color than I have here. You mix some of this up already. If you have to mix more of your grape color, but put a little white into it, just the speck. You want it to be light enough to stand out against what you already have on your canvas. So you're the judge of that. I can't see everybody's canvas. But you want to be roughly the same color and a little bit of light. you can always be a little lighter. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find the tops of the grapes that are right in front. You can tell the grapes that are right in the front of my pile here because I can see the bottom edges of it. Right? So this is in front, that's in front, that's in front, 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 front. Every grape that's in front, I want to paint the top of it. So I'm going to paint the top of this grape here. I need a little more white in that. So I'm going to paint the top of this grape here. I'm going to paint the top of this grape here, this grape here, this grape here. See how that pulls them out? Right here, that makes them stand out in front. Going to go over here and do the same thing. I'm just concentrating on the grapes that are in the front. You can also hit anything that you have standing alone, like this guy's out here by itself, so I'm going to paint the top of him. Now, if you have a pile of grapes, which I have a small pile, somebody has a very large pile over there, you can just work your way from the front to the back, picking out the tops of grapes. So right here, I'm going to say, this is the top of a grape right there. It's right in between those two. I'm going to pick this one to be the top. And what that does is it makes the other ones fall behind. Coming over here, I'm going to pick this one here to be on top of everything. And that's about it for my pile of grapes. What we're going to do is come back and we're going to actually put a darker color in there if we can, just to in some of the areas here in the back. We'll push a couple of these back with a slightly darker color, but we're going to let this sit for a bit. Let's clean out this brush again. I'm going to dab a little, just a smudge of black into some of the bigger holes on my cheese. So I'm going to just take a little tiny tip of black on this brush. I'm going to go into the larger holes in my cheese. I'm just going to put a random spot of black in some of them, some of the larger ones. This is going to make some of them see a little bit deeper. Not all of them. I left the little ones alone. After I've done that with the black, I'm going to clean out that brush. And I'm going to hit some of these holes in the cheese with straight white. I'm going to highlight the edge of that. So I'm going to go get white. I'm not going to thin it. I'm going to try and do it without thinning it. Leave alone the side that's in shadow. Don't touch that. I'm going to go over to this right side, and on the right side of some of these holes, I'm just going to paint half of the edge of that hole white. So, just a couple. And I'm going to do the same thing with the one on its side here. I'm going to paint the right side of these. Just putting a little curved white highlight. Okay. I think our cheese is almost done. Question back there? No? No? The white, I'm
On the bottom on this slice, but on the top up here?
I put them on the right side of the holes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The right side.
Yeah, the right side is what I did. I'm assuming that my light source is coming from the top left. All right, we need to get a little crazy here with some green. We can use that same brush, clean it out. I'm going to take just a quick brush of green. I'm going to accentuate the top of the bottle and just like a little collar around the neck. I don't know if it's for a cork or whatever. But I'm going to go up top with, this is pretty much straight green. I'm going to paint a top lip. Just kind of highlight it there. And then I'm going to paint another one down here, just a line across, giving a little character to the top of the bottle. And that's it. It just gives a little shape up there. You know how some bottles have like a little lip or something?
But straight green?
Just straight green, yeah, because that glass is a little thicker. I'm just painted a line straight across. We're not getting into any heavy detail here. We're just hinting at more than just straight up glass. We're hinting at a lip, something that might have held a cap or a bottle, a cork. All right, that's really all you need for that green. You can wash that brush out really good. Okay. I am going to use that same brush, nice and clean. I'm going to start highlighting the wine glass. Okay. Everybody's with us at this point? Okay. Highlighting glass, we're going to use a combination of straight, hard white, and also some watered down, some thinner streaks. These streaks here are just kind of like rubbed down the side. They're hit with some brighter white highlights. This is how we give shape to the neck of our bottle. You'll notice that the highlights, they come down, straight down the neck, and they flare out for the bottle. It flares out in both directions. Okay, so we'll be hinting at that too. We're just going to go straight down the sides with some highlight colors as well. There's no exact, unless you're copying from a photograph, which we're not. We're just kind of guessing at where to put this. We want to be consistent. The glass and the bottle will both be highlighted mostly on the left-hand side. Okay. I'm going to go get straight white paint. And I'm going to go to my glass here. I'm going to put a hard highlight right on this edge, just straight white, right up there. Just there, nowhere else on that lip. Okay, then I'm going to take another smudge of straight white paint. I'm going to come over here on my left-hand side, just make a mark down, maybe make a second mark down. Then I'm going to put one more and I'm going to drag that one down with my finger. Maybe a second drag down over there. I'm going to put a little highlight on the back edge of the glass too. So back here on this side, on the top edge, and then I'm going to put something just above the wine and smudge it. Okay. The last that I want to do with the glass is I want to give the stem a little bit more clarity. So I'm going to paint those two lines that I already have there with a thicker white paint. So on the left-hand side, and I'm going to paint my base a little bit thicker. That's just half an oval for me. For those of you who have a full base exposed, so you have a stem that comes down like this, and you need to paint a full entire base. If that's the case with you, you would paint in your oval and bring some of these stem lines at an angle. The glass will flare down to the base. So you can show that by having a little bit of highlights curving out towards the outer edge. Does that make sense to folks who have to do this? I did not. I didn't plan it that way, it just happened. All right, just pecking away at this glass, trying to figure out the highlight that I put on at the very first faded out. So I'm going to hit it with just another solid white paint. Okay. Going to do the same thing to our bottle now. First thing I'm going to do using this almost straight white is those two little things that I just put on the top of our bottle. If you manage to get some shape up there, on the left-hand side, I'm just going to hit it, and then I put another one here. So I highlighted those two little dark green sections, just a little something on top of it. Okay. I'm going to drag some white down, and I'm going to come down the neck, and once I hit the bottle, I'm going to flare it out. So here comes some white down right here. I'm going to start flaring it out with the bottle right there. Let it drag down. Maybe I'll pull my finger through it and pull it down. Put something else out here. I'm going to bring another one and send it this way, just a lighter one, so that we can see the other shape, the other side of the bottle, how it flares out the other way. I think I'll bring a highlight down to this section here. Just going to scuff that, and I'm going to take on this outside edge over here, I'm just going to take a section of it, and I'm going to hit it with pure white, just a section of it. Going to hint at something over here, nothing too fancy and nothing too bright. Going to put it there and rub it out a little bit. Above the wine level. I don't know if you can see that, how that came out, but it's rubbed out pretty well, and it's above the wine, which kind of hints that it's on the back side of the bottle. Good for our eyes to look at. I think my bottle needs one good highlight in the front. So I'm going to come right in here and put in a really bright white highlight. Maybe I'll do a second one. That's probably enough. Probably too much. Okay. Before we go too far, I want to put a label on my bottles, get a first coat, and let it sit. I've lost my paintbrush. Oh well. I'll use one of these. Okay. For a brief moment, I'm going to switch over to this large flat brush. I left it there. Oh.
I don't know which one's yours.
I'll get one out of your way. Okay, label. It's going to be white. It's going to take up a fair portion of my bottle. It's going to be a thin white, so I'm taking my large flat brush. I'm going to thin out some white, get it on the base of my brush. Do you need white? Yes? Anybody need clean white?
We're definitely getting there. I can probably make it work.
Right there? Oh, clean white. Yes? Where would you like it? How about over here? Hey.
I'll use hers.
Yours?
know, please.
Oh, okay. You're all set? Okay. This needs to be fairly, or not fairly thin, but thin enough that you can pull it out. Now, the label itself on this one here kind of wraps around the bottle. It kind of gives a little character to it so you don't look at it straight on. So we're going to try that again. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to start on the left-hand side. I'm going to come in below my wine level, and I'm just going to bring it over. Oh, it needs to be a little bit thinner. Okay, so bringing this label around the bottle to the edge of the glass. My paint's drying up tonight. Don't bring the label all the way down. Leave a space at the bottom. Okay. Clean that up a little. Since I've got some white in my brush, I'm going to use this to do a little highlighting down below. You know what I should have done? I turned things upside down to get the better angle. So, yeah, I should have done that here. Okay. I got some white here in my large brush, and I'm going to use it to highlight the tablecloth down here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put like just a little bit here, right in front, and I'm going to carry it along and over the front edge here. And I'm just going to kind of dust it from just, I don't know, gently tap the rest of that back there, leaving little highlights of white here and there. I do want to put a concentrated white along this edge. So I'm going to hit this whole edge right here with another round of white. And I'm happy with that. What this does is, because We've lightened the very front edge of this that comes over the shelf. It makes it visually look closer to us. So it helps give a little depth to our painting. Okay. Grapes. Grapes, grapes, grapes. I want to paint up, do what they call a little back painting. I'm taking purple and I'm adding a speck of black so that it's dark. Okay. We're going to paint, we're going to push things back. So for example, I don't know if you can see, I'm using my medium round. I'm also putting some water in this so that it actually, I don't have to fight it to make it come off the brush. I'm going to use this a little sparingly. So for example, right in here, I'm going to back paint that grape behind the highlights that I put. I'll do that here as well. This is a dark purple. Back paint this one here. Basically, we're pushing this grape further back. Going to go over here. This grape back here is way back there. This is all going to be different for each of us. This grape is behind the front one, so I'm going to darken that one up a little. This grape way back here is behind everything. We'll darken that one up a little. Over here, this grape is behind the other one, so I'll darken that one up a little. Okay. Cleaning that brush out, I'm going to use it to do a little highlight on these grapes. It's just going to be a little curved line of white. I don't need to hit all of them. I'm just going to hit some of them. Probably the ones up front I'll hit first. See where we end up. So, cleaning out that same brush, using straight white. Going to come up here and pick a grape. I'm going to pick this one right here, and I'm just going to put a highlight on it. How about this one back here? Maybe this one here. Maybe that one there. A little tiny one here. Okay. Just a couple of highlights on the grapes. We're getting close. We're getting close. What do we have? What's left? Oh, I know. I'm going to, using this same brush again, cleaning it out. I'm going to get a watery mix of some black, just some dirty water. Okay? I don't want this to come out solid black. I want it to be watery. Okay, here we go. We're going to leave some shadows. I'm going to go up and underneath each grape here, I want to put a little shadow. Just a tiny. Just a little shadow. Something under our glass here. Going to hint at a shadow over here. Drop some black down and move it with my finger. Gonna put a dark line underneath my bottle. Just hinting at some shadows. I'm gonna hint seriously back in here inside my cheese. I'm gonna bring some of that color back in there. Okay. Take some of this same shadow color. I'm gonna put it right underneath the edge of my cloth here. Not the whole edge, here and there. So this edge is laying flat, but you can see a little over here. Come over on this side, do the same thing. Okay. So, from what I can tell, my label is about the only thing that's really needs addressing. So, you didn't put a label on.
No, mine won't be.
Oh.
Hers is homemade.
Homemade wine. Nothing wrong with that. I could have painted mine in a box. Okay.
Hers is not painting tonight, she would have done that.
I'm going to decorate my label really quick. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my small, skinny, round brush with the blue handle. Okay, just some quick decorations. Up in the corner, I'm going to throw a little leaf figure, which is basically 3 little dabs of this brush. Okay, I'm using green. Okay, I'm going to dab out of the corner and along the edges. 3 little dabs, so they look like 3 little leaves right up there, okay? You're not making a brush stroke, you're just dabbing it. I'm going to go right down to this bottom corner here, do the same thing. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. 3 little leaves. All right, what should we do with that? I don't know. How about, I think I put there's a red squiggly line going around my label. So, watery red. Nice point on this. You can roll this brush to get a nice point. And then I'm just going to make a couple squiggly lines around my label. There's a... Okay. And I think just because I don't know what else to do, I might throw some random leaves and some gold flowers along that squiggly line just to fill it in. Okay, so back to just a couple of green leaves. Maybe I'll put one here, there. Maybe I'll put one here and here. Maybe there and there.
Back to green.
I went back to green. I'm sorry. I warned you we'd be jumping around. I'm just going to take some yellow paint now and just make a couple of dots along this here. Just some yellow dots. I don't know what they represent, but I have all this paint on my palette and I got to use it, right? So that's enough decoration. I'm going to put, I think I wrote Bill's wine. Only I don't have to write it all. I just have to write half of it. Okay. I'm going to use that same brush, and I'm going to label mine in black. It's got to be pretty thin in order to come off the brush. All right, I'm going to go, this is half a label, so I'm going to go, there's B, I, L. There's my other L. I kind of just went off to the side. Now you can just start with a couple letters, whatever you want to say, and just have one letter end halfway. Don't paint half the letter and the other half is gone around the side. You have a full label. That's all right. You can write whatever you want entirely or nothing at all. I want to say that we have come pretty close to being done. Am I forgetting anything? For those of you who still might have some chalk marks on your painting, don't worry. Don't worry. Your best bet would be to leave them there until tomorrow. That way you can brush them off. If it doesn't brush off, you can use a damp paper towel and use a damp paper towel and feel sure that you won't pick up any paint. If you have finished, if you think you have finished, you've got to sign it and take ownership of it. That's the artist's rule. I'm going to sign mine over here. I think I'm going to use some yellow paint. Yellow and white, I think. How did we do, folks? Looking good, looking good.
I'm happy with it.
Look at that.
Those grapes, they don't look like grapes.
Well, yeah. You know what I think it's, when you don't get a paint that covers, you end up with brush strokes everywhere, especially when you're dealing with a small area because it's tough to spread it all out. Acrylics, they're just naturally translucent. There is a product called Gesso. It's a primer. It's what I prime these canvases with, and it comes in white. If you add that to paints, especially these acrylics, you will add body to paint. It's not completely white. Very nice. The glass did not break.
Who's to say? Where did the red come
That
from?
looks great.
I don't know.
Well,
Oh, how do I get rid of that? We're learning. Just go brown over it.
what would you like in place? Brown? You could probably cover it with brown.
Just those things.
It might be
was fun.
It might be a little dark.
A Picasso, but it was still fun. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It's difficult to jump right into it.
Yeah. I can't even
Um,
do stick people, so I'm okay with this.
yeah. Okay, my friends, if you are done, pallets go in the trash. Paper pallets go in the trash.
If anyone wants to show people at home their painting,
Oh,
go
yes.
in front of the camera.
If you want to show your friends at home your painting, you can step in front of the camera and say, "Hi, Mom."
Oops, sorry. Where do you have the paintbrush?
Paintbrushes in the yellow tub over here. And our water jars get emptied into the dirty bucket. Dirty bucket.